third dimension.
This is 3D or 2D.com's The 3D Show!
Season 2, now twice as sexy!
Put on your 3D glasses now.
And if you're wondering what the 3Ds are in The 3D Show, well, they stand for discussion, debate, and the news. I do hope you enjoyed the show. The show, get it?
Hello. Welcome to another episode of The 3D Show, episode 75. This is Adolph Vega, and today I have with me Jake. Say hi.
Say hi.
And James.
Yes, I'm here.
And we have quite a few topics to talk about today. Some good, some sad. We'll leave the sad one for the very end, but let's start off on a positive, happy note. Let's start off with a trailer for a new Bigfoot movie called Missing Link.
Oh.
Have you guys seen this trailer or no?
Yeah, doesn't it? It looks kind of sort of claymation almost.
Yes.
Huh?
It does.
I wasn't big on the character designs, but I'm sure I'll get dragged to see this.
Now, it seems like the Bigfoot is becoming a trend now, because Smallfoot came out earlier this year, and this come out next year. So is this like a new thing with kids, like Bigfoot?
Hey, out in the Pacific Northwest, Bigfoot, aka Sasquatch, has always been a thing out here.
James, what do you think about Bigfoot?
Well, I mean, it look. I think I know who made these films because it has like a similar style. I don't know like their name personally, but I know that it matches the style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alita. Yeah. Yeah, they're animation studio up in Portland. Yeah.
Yeah, they've done other ones like the Kubo and the Three Strings or whatever.
Yeah.
And
So
the Box
that means
Trolls.
I'm definitely going to be dragged to see this because Oregon native, I don't have a choice. It's almost like in the Constitution or something.
Now, it looks like an independent kind of movie. It doesn't look like a traditional kids movie, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It looks just like really hipstery and like, oh, take this, missing link on the town and dress them up and, it's really weird.
Yeah. All Alita's movies have that kind of weird edge, like Kubo and Coraline. And I'm trying to remember the one about the garbage, the kid in the dumpster, and then they had the Book of Life, which would probably be remembered more fondly, but Coco by Disney kind of blew it out of the water.
But I do like Book of Life too, though. It's a really fun movie.
Yeah, I really liked it too. I mean, I pretty much like all Alita's stuff. In fact, Travis Knight, one of their directors at Leica, and son of Phil Knight of Reebok, no, is it Adidas? Oh, I can't ever remember. He's directing the Bumblebee movie.
Okay. Anything else you want to say about this, James, or no?
No, it looks, because of how Kubo went, I don't know how popular this would be, but it looks fine. They definitely have a style that you can tell,
Yeah. I mean, Kubo, I think, is a great movie, and a lot of people love it. I don't know if it did that much box office-wise, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better video.
Let's keep going. Let's talk about something that's going to definitely make box office, regardless if we want it or not. We got a teaser for Toy Story 4. Did you guys see this?
Yeah. So they had two teasers, actually.
Yeah.
First one knocked my ass off because the song they used for it is the song that the horror movie that came out this year, Hereditary, ends with.
Oh. Okay.
So, seen Hereditary. Oh my God. You will never look at Toy Story the same way ever again.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
This podcast is brought to you by 3D Wiggle. With 3D Wiggle software, you can impress your family and friends with 3D gifts and videos. To find out more information, please click on the link in the description for 20% off coupon as well. This podcast is also brought to you by Patreon. With Patreon, you can become a patron and get this podcast commercial free and get many more benefits. Please click on the description again to get more information. Now, back to the show. Now, I think we pretty much all agree that Toy Story 3 ended things perfectly, so Toy Story 4 does not need it.
Toy Story 4. The cash cow.
If you're going for such a naked cash grab, it better be damn good. That's all I got to say.
Okay, well, Pixar has been going down this hitter for the past 10 years, so... Okay, it's like, I didn't... Honestly, since 2010, they haven't put out a good movie. And I know that I'm not... And by good, I mean as good as the ones before it, you know? Like, for me, Toy Story 3 was the last, like, alright, you know, that's the last good Pixar movie.
I love Coco, so I'm not gonna... Nope, I disagree with you there, James.
No.
Coco! I like Coco, too. But Coco seems to be... doesn't even feel like a Pixar movie.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. But, yeah. So...
And then, I really like Inside Out. I think Inside Out is fantastic.
I liked Inside Out, but I agree, it wasn't as good as some of the early Pixar.
You can't beat them. You can't beat the first, what was it, 15 years. Mm-hmm. You can't. Sorry. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't expect this one to be good, honestly. Like, Incredibles 2 wasn't that good. And,
Now,
I don't know.
The second trailer was really weird because it was very, like, fourth wall breaking. What did you think of this, Jake?
I was laughing my butt off. It was hysterical. I can hardly wait to see them in the movie. I mean, I'm like saying, if this is what the movie's gonna be, you know, kind of this, we're gonna cash grab, but we're gonna meta riff on it. You know, they may be onto something. Kids will hate it, but their parents will enjoy it.
Now, what's the deal with Forky? And, like, it's not a toy, but, like, I guess, do they just too poor to make a toy and then they make it out of a fork or something? It's really weird.
There seems to be something going on in animated movies about little girls getting boys' toys and destroying them. Because, I mean, that seems to be the plot of the second Lego movie. Because if you remember in Toy Story, you know, Andy gives his toys to a little girl. So I imagine she makes a lot of her own toys.
But if is it a toy that comes to life, or is it the fork or the spork that is living? If the spork is living, then that's really out there. Because where does it end? You know, what other things that are inanimate objects to us are living? You know?
Yeah, exactly. They just need to get this little girl a thing maker if she wants to make toys.
And then, of course, you know, we don't need to go there, but we're going to go there a little bit. Toys is a very, very, very broad term. So people already done this joke before, but, you know, adult toys, are they self-aware too?
Oy vey!
Hey. I think we now know what Seth, I can just see the pitch now for Seth Rogen. I got the perfect idea. A sequel to Toy Story and Sausage Party.
Now, they're going to recast some of the characters in this movie because they died. So that's going to be kind of weird because Slinky and Potato died, right? I think it is.
Yeah,
Slinky, Potato Head.
This is Potato Head. And there's one more. Well, it's been a long time. Sorry about that, kid.
It's been 10 years. Almost.
People pass away.
Yeah.
Well, it's just.
And I mean, it really has been 10 years when you consider, like, Toy Story 3 wasn't completed in 2010. It was just released. It was probably, like, completed in 2009. So, yeah, it really has been 10 years.
Yeah.
So, let's keep going with animated stuff. We got a teaser trailer for Secret Life of Pets 2.
All right.
Okay, James,
Illumination.
what do you think about this?
Illumination. It's Illumination animation. It's
They
nothing
got great.
special.
They got great character designs, though. And I was blown away by the Grinch. I went in there expecting to hate it. I went in there expecting to trash talk it, and my heart grew 3 sizes. I will tell you, I was stunned. I was surprised.
Oh, surprising!
I couldn't believe it. I
Wow.
thought that if there were flies in the theater, they would have all flown into my mouth. I was so slack-jawed surprised. I mean,
wow.
But I didn't like the first Secret Life of Pets that much. I mean, it was okay, but nothing I want to see again, so I'm not too thrilled about this new one either. So
Yeah.
Now, the thing with this is that they're really showcasing that the dog is going to the vets, and then like they have a cone around him, so it's very much implied that the dog is getting neutered, and which is okay, makes sense. Definitely support keeping the pet control population down with neutering and spading, but it seems kind of a strange topic to get into like a kids movie.
Yeah. I also remember this series has been is the first one of the casualties of the Me Too movement with Patton Oswalt is the replacement voice.
Oh. So it's not the original voice actor?
Yeah, because Louis.
Louis C.K. Yeah.
He's kind of on the out right now.
Yeah. We had to send him back to his cave.
Yeah. Yeah, he can go, if he has to deal with other celebrities, he can go hang out with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, you know, him and Sarah Silverman used to hang out when they were kids. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
They did. They were like childhood friends. That's weird to think.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's keep going here. Let's keep going with animation here. Well, okay, semi-animation.
Oh.
Okay.
Semi-animation.
I know what you're going to say.
Okay, I'll just say it. Detective Pikachu trailer.
Yeah, the Pokemon look hideous. They look scary. I don't know why, but the CGI, like, it's too realistic. You know? Because, okay, it's one thing, and I think this is a problem that, a lot of, cartoons that are adapted into, like, CGI, they look disgusting. They look horrific. You know?
Jake, do you have any opinion on this or no?
Peekaboo!
Yeah.
Expect his earrings. Expect to hear him swear or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's yeah.
Sorry, I'm gagging on the thought of it.
Ryan Reynolds basically plays the same character in every movie. So.
Yeah, Deadpool. Varying degrees of Deadpool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he doesn't sound distinct. That's the thing, too. Like, okay, Ryan Reynolds be Ryan Reynolds, but it still like you just close your eyes, you think Deadpool. You don't have he doesn't have any range with the character at all.
Exactly. Just and the internet's already memeing this movie super hard.
Yeah.
And so I'm not confident about it.
I mean, if it succeeds financially, not money. It doesn't matter if it's good. If it makes money, then we'll have more of these Pokemon movies.
I'm also really surprised, like that. This is the first live action Nintendo movie since like Super Mario Brothers. Really, I think, and it's really weird that because Nintendo has been really, really like, all right, no movies made to tarnish our good name for like almost more than 20 years, and now they're like, all right, you can have this one. I'm like, oh, it doesn't even look that good. Like, I would think that the first live action movie would be something like Zelda or something.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
I know, and it's a game that I don't even think had a North America release. Not that I give a crap one way or another about Pokemon. I was always
another really weird aspect about this game is that it's not even it's not a main Pokemon game. It's a spin-off, and not even a spin-off that's been around that long. Like, it's not Mystery Dungeon or anything, or the tournament, whatever. It's one that's been released recently. And another thing that's weird is, like, okay, the actors in this movie look super Americanized, because, like, the main guy, right, he doesn't look Japanese or anything. He looks, I don't know. And to me, it's weird, because what they're doing is they're taking a game that was marketed in Japan and bringing it over to America and trying to sell it to an American audience.
So, the game originally came out on February 3rd, 2016 on Nintendo 3DS. Did not include 3D, by the way. And like James said, it's an offshoot of the Pokemon franchise. It's not a mainline game. So, it's kind of strange.
It's not canon. Like, well, here's the thing. It's like the main game isn't canon, and this movie isn't canon. So it's like a spin-off of a spin-off movie. That's not even, how is this connected to a Western audience? I know for a fact that, the American side of it has been mostly the main games. That's the appeal. That's the, the late 90s, with the, not the, you know what I'm talking about. The first generation Pokemon, that stuff, the early anime, and that right there is where Americans know. This, I just don't understand, like, what type of corporate whatever decided that this was a good idea,
Yeah, it's really strange, because it's not a mainline story. If they would have remade the original game into a movie, that's understandable. But like you said, it's a offshoot movie from, it's just like, why? And then it doesn't make any sense. And, you said, I agree, the character models are hideous. And, like, Mr. Mime is terrifying.
That's actually where the majority of the memes have been, because they say that Mr. Mime looks like the Joker in The Dark Knight. Like, they put him with makeup, with the red or whatever by his lips. It's funny.
Or they could revive the Saw franchise with him.
No, but like it's the models look gross, first of all. And here's the thing. I thought this whole, like, CGI to live action thing died. Like, I thought that stuff ended. Like, I thought we firmly put the nail in the coffin and said no more, but I guess not. I guess we didn't learn our lesson. So honestly, I hope this thing bombs, and I hope this thing becomes the next Super Mario Bros. Because, because the thing is that this is not the Nintendo movie we needed.
They should have cast Danny DeVito as Pikachu, damn it.
Yeah.
I don't care if he doesn't know what it is. He can be a great character.
Yeah.
Alright. So, going from there, let's go to something that everyone loves and brings life and joy to everyone in the world and is almost a god among us all. Shrek.
Yeah, and Shrek.
It's coming back!
No, it's coming. Okay, it was coming back for a while, but not. It's not a sequel anymore. It's going to be a reboot, and it's going to be by people who made the Despicable Me movies. And
Shrek is life, James.
As much as I can appreciate Illumination's art, I don't want to see another franchise done in their style.
I don't like their style, to be honest. I think it's really bland.
Shrek is love, James.
Shrek is life. Get
I
Shrek.
But I like, correct, it just kind of, it was, to me, it was Mike Myers' shining moment. He was even better at that than he was at Austin Powers. I just can't picture anybody else as Shrek.
Yeah, I can't imagine. You know who they're gonna name it. And seriously, like, what's the point? You know, what's the point of making a reboot?
Money.
Like the okay, money, yes, but I mean, what's the point? Like, you know, like
Creatively.
Creatively. That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about money. We're talking about the big brain stuff, like the idea of it. That's what we're talking about. So, like, why do we need this? That's what I'm asking. Why do we need it?
So, you know, Michael Myers hasn't been in a movie in a while.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Austin Powers 4 win.
Mike Myers was in Bohemian Rhapsody. Not that anybody recognized it.
now, what do you guys think?
I don't think those movies would fly today, though. I think they're a little bit too racy.
Now, what do you think of Shrek 4? I never watched Shrek 4.
It was sad. It was like 3 and 4 are both bad, but they're also depressing. That's the worst part about it. They're not because, you know, like in Shrek 4, Shrek is like, he's basically fed up with like being a dad and being married, and so he wishes that he would basically, like, what his life would be like for a day if, you know, he never left the swamp, and it turns out that it's like an apocalypse land where like evil rules the world and things. It just sucks. It's a depressing storyline.
Jake, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah.
It's basically the Flintstones.
Yeah.
Okay. How is it the Flintstones, Jake?
It just Flintstones, great designs and stuff, but it always seemed to go into a depressing, being married sucks groove eventually.
Okay.
It always just went to the dark place.
Yeah. Which, yeah.
So, okay, my Shrek experiences, I, like, dragged my friends to see the first one. It's like, no, it's going to be good. And then they're like, oh, wait, it is pretty good. And then I was super excited for Shrek 2. I really loved Shrek 2. I think I saw
Shrek 2 is great.
I saw it, I think it was midnight showing almost. I was super
Yeah.
hyped. And then Shrek 3, and I was like, I hate this.
Yeah.
And, like, I sold my Shrek DVDs. I walked away from the franchise, and I didn't see Shrek 4. Never seen Shrek 4. I did see Puss in Boots, because I do like Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
Puss in Boots is good. I like that movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, one thing that's weird is that they did have, like... See, the thing is that when you have the choice of, like, making a sequel and a reboot, like, no one likes reboots. So, what's the point? What's the point of recasting everyone? You know?
Well, I don't know if they're going to get recasted. I think everything's coming back.
Well, a reboot's okay if something's hasn't been around for 20 years. But, I mean, Shrek is still... I mean, my God, everybody's still alive. The people who saw it aren't that much older. All you're going to do is piss people off.
Like, wait another 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, that was the problem with Solo.
Yeah.
They waited so long to make it that Harrison Ford was too old. But the audience that saw it wanted Harrison Ford and weren't going to accept a substitute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think Shrek is going to be the same thing.
Like, they've made holiday movies, and they made this and that. So, like you said, they haven't really been completely out of the media, you know? And, of course, the Shrek is Love meme thing came up and, like, rejuvenated people's love with the character. James, can you explain that to people? I don't know what the hell is going on.
Oh, okay. So, basically, I think the meme originated on 4chan, and it was basically like, there's a Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life series, and it was basically about, like, this kid, and he prays to Shrek every night, and then Shrek comes and, like, beats up his enemies. So, it's pretty weird. You have to watch the video to understand that. But, yeah, it's really, like, yeah, it's hard to explain, but, yeah, it was a big meme a while ago.
Now, Puss in Boots, are you guys in favor of more of that? I actually really like
Yes,
that.
Yes, I would like to see another Puss in Boots movie. I'd like to see a donkey movie.
No, I don't know about that.
It's the best thing Eddie Murphy's done since Beverly Hills Cop.
True. Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to...
Yeah,
Not his donkey.
Fun story about Shrek, good memory, is that, for high school, our final thing in drama our final project was we had to reenact a scene from, like, a movie, and the scene that me and my partner chose was the onion scene. I played Shrek. It was pretty funny. Ogres are like onions.
So, okay, if they're going to reboot it, are they going to go back to having Fagwar, or, go back to having is it going to be like basically the same story as the one, or is it just going to be
that's what I'm wondering. Like, is it... Because, okay, here's the thing. All the Shrek movies are different, and they follow the same storyline, but it's like, how can you really reboot that? You know what I mean? Like, are they just gonna do a remake of the first one? Or what are they gonna do?
Oh, they're going to gender swap and do Fiona being Shrek, rescuing Michael Myers.
Well, wait a second. They already kind of did that. They already did the whole like Shrek turns into a human, and in the second one. So, you know what I mean?
But like Fiona is going to be the one looking for Shrek.
That I like that about the second one, is that they had like Shrek become a human.
Yeah,
that was cool.
All right,
but let's
move on. Let's go to Dumbo. Actually got a full-length trailer, which is not that much different from the teaser.
Yeah. I don't know about the whole Tim Burton adaptations of Disney movies. Not a huge fan of the whole Alice in Wonderlands, but that's just me.
No, you're right. He has a very spotty record.
please don't make me review this. Please don't make me review this. I went to the Marvel Fest, and they aired that Dumbo teaser before every movie.
Is it good?
No. They also aired the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse trailer before.
Well, I mean, I personally think that, this movie kind of looks like a bomb. I don't know, like, here's the thing. It's Tim Burton, right? The last movie he did bombed. And who wants to see Dark Dumbo, the movie? Like, who?
No, you're right. It's so sappy.
What Mark?
And who's scarier? Battle Angel Alita's eyes, Dumbo's eyes, or Meme Face from Pikachu?
Mr. Mime.
That's Mr. Mime. Yeah. One thing I will say about is like this is another case where it's like this CGI looks horrible. Like I don't know why, it just looks really bad. And yeah, Dumbo was always a movie that was kind of sad, like already.
Yeah.
So why do we need Tim Burton to make it more sad?
Yeah.
And why do we have to make it like not only sad like the movie, but like sad that you have to watch it, because it's bad.
It's just so sappy and so it's just you're gonna be taking your tissues with you because they're gonna make you cry every chance they get.
It's like you're stuck with this one,
and they're like. Then there's a scene where it's like, oh, please give me an Oscar, That's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to change the story because I don't think they could have the racist cat crows in this one.
The racist crows. That's funny.
And
all right,
I mean,
yeah. I this is another movie that I'm not really excited for that much.
Yeah, this one I don't really think they needed to make it live action. I think they could have left it animated and just really pretty animation. But yeah, I'm not sure about Dumbo. Now let's move on to Alita, Battle Angel. Got a new trailer. It's actually kind of cool. I'm digging this.
Huh? Yeah. Looks okay.
It looks like they're following the anime.
And maybe I'm getting used to the eyes on this one. Maybe they've gotten better this trailer. It doesn't look as weird as it was before. I don't know.
It didn't have all the close-ups of her either.
And the 3D looks pretty cool in this too. So it looks cool. James, got anything to say on this or no?
It looks okay. It looks decent. I don't know if I'd go to see it, but it looks fine.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
This podcast is brought to you by 3D Wiggle. With 3D Wiggle software, you can impress your family and friends with 3D gifts and videos. To find out more information, please click on the link in the description for 20% off coupon as well. This podcast is also brought to you by Patreon. With Patreon, you can become a patron and get this podcast commercial free and get many more benefits. Please click on the description again to get more information. Now, back to the show.
All right, let's move on to Mortal Engines. They got a new trailer, and this looks pretty different.
Yeah.
So you're giving more backstory in the main character, and like you're trying to understand why this future is so different and weird, and it looks like a very original story. I never even heard of Mortal Engines before, so it looks interesting. This looks like it's gonna bomb, which is sad. I think it's an original story or a not very popular story. I don't know anything about it, really, but I never heard of it. But
looks like a Terry Gilliam story to me.
Terry Gilliam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Animator for Monty Python. In fact, he did a very simple thing with corporate pirates in a moving office building, which aired before The Meaning of Life.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend checking it. It's as absurd as. It's one of those things. Once you see it, you see Mortal Engines, you'll go, meh. Then they're done that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have one more story, and it's a big one, and it is a sad one, and it's one of those things that it happened earlier in the week, and it still kind of hits you, even days after. And this is, we can't really joke around about this because it's tragic. It's it's not unexpected. It's the passing of the legendary Stanley. I already did my own podcast about this. Jake, do you want to start things off here on what your thoughts on Stanley?
Yeah. Well, we lost Nerd Grandpa. Yeah. Stanley was, when I lived on the East Coast, I saw him dozens of times at almost every convention I ever went to, beside those weekend comic swap ones. Dragon Con, he was always there. New York Comic Con, always there. DC Comic Con was always there. Never remembered people, but he was always friendly, always gracious, always kind. Had great stories. Nice guy. I'm gonna miss the hell out of him. I mean, I hadn't seen him in person. Last time I saw him was the last time I was at San Diego Comic Con, which was the year everybody wore the dirty Marvel shirts, the ones that said, "Marvel can suck my dick." It's a long, convoluted story. I won't go into it. But Stan Lee, basically, when you bumped into him in the hall, he would, if you were wearing one of those shirts, he would ask you politely to turn it inside out, because he didn't want his wife to see that kind of language.
So you actually got to meet him and shake his hand and say hi to him?
Yeah. Actually, at a Dragon one year, I was at a dinner with him and about 200 other people. So it wasn't like I got to talk to him or anything.
James, what do you want to say about this?
Well, as people have brought up, if you look into the history of Marvel, the 60s, the 70s, Stan Lee worked with a lot of people, and created a lot of characters, or co-created a lot of characters with, both Steve Ditko and, Jack Kirby. And if you know anything about history, you'll know that often, as time went on, the relationship between these three kind of soured. And even though a lot of people want to blame Stan Lee for that, even though a lot of people want to say that, he was really rude or he was possessive or something, I think Stan Lee, you got to think about how competitive things were back then. You got to think about how much pressure there was on publishers and things. And, for that, I think he did the best he could. And, it's unfortunate that Jack Kirby and Stan Lee never really made amends, but Stan Lee, I think because you guys talk a lot about who he was, I think more so than who he actually was, I think what matters most is that he was a symbol of, the Silver Age of comics, and really an era that's long ago past. And so him being around was just kind of a reminder that existed. And I think that, since he died, and that kind of, that era is kind of over. It really is. You know, all the Silver Age comic creators, all of them are gone. Jack Kirby died like 20 years ago, you know, and Steve Ditko died like a couple months ago. Now Stan Lee, so they're all gone now. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about it.
Yeah. Well, Stan Lee was also the last of the Golden Age creators too.
Yeah, he was. You know, that's what I meant really. Like, it's that entire era, and like when I look back on it, when I look back at exactly like, did I agree with everything Stan Lee believed? No. You know, did I support everything that, you know, he did, or necessarily the things that, no. But, you know, we're all humans, and at the end of the day, I don't necessarily Stan Lee ever had like bad intentions, to be honest. I don't think he was trying to, you know, subvert the masses or something. I think he just wanted to tell stories, and, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I have another Stan Lee story that doesn't really deal with Stan Lee directly, but indirectly, and I think I should mention. I grew up reading DC and Tower comics because I grew up a military brat overseas. There were no Marvels sold when my dad was in the military. AAFES banned them. They refused to allow any Marvel comics to be sold in any of their stores on any military base because they demanded that Marvel Comics not mention the Vietnam War. They wanted them to do it like Gomer Pyle, and Stan Lee refused.
Yeah.
And he got Martin Goodman. They were going to treat the Vietnam War. They were going to be on America's side, of course, but they weren't going to badmouth the military or anything. But they were going to mention it, and because it was something that was real and something that was going on, and they refused to budge. Therefore, they were banned. So I was like in my tweens before I ever saw a Marvel comic.
Yeah,
and that was I remember the one I saw it was an Incredible Hulk, and it was the first appearance of Leonard Samson, you know, Doc Samson,
yeah,
you know, the guy with the green hair. That was my first Marvel comic.
Well, yeah, and another thing we should mention about Stan Lee is that he wanted to tell stories, and the thing that I admire about him really, is that he wanted to tell stories that mattered to people, and he wanted to do that by injecting realism into the stories. I mean, he went against the Comic Code Authority when deciding that he wanted to put, you know, drugs into the comics as to show the effects of it. And I think, you know, grounding it to earth is the best way to do it, personally. You know, it's, you know what I mean? Like, drugs are a very real problem, you know?
You know, one of the things, Stan Lee, he kind of transcended being just like a creator. He became an icon. And
yeah, that's what I mean.
You know, that's where, like, people know him, and, like, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter, but it's one of those things that it's more than just, he was like a symbol. This is it's okay to be a comic book fan. It's okay to be a nerd. It's okay to be geeky. You know, it doesn't matter. And, like, he kind of was there, and he's always been there. You know, it's one of those things where it's you know, we all...
He was every geek's grandpa.
Yeah. And, you know, James is right. He did take credit where he didn't need to take credit. And, you know, it is, you know, controversial, but it is the truth. You know, some of the things he took, you know, that are claimed to be his aren't his, you know, but he wanted to become more than just a writer, or just a creator. He wanted to be part of the culture and like shape the, fandom and shape the world. And, people, I saw that people in, Japan are crying in his death. And, they said that they watched Venom and they're crying when they saw him because Venom just came out over there, like last week, I think it is. So, he's impacted people all around the world. And, he's a grandpa to everyone. And, grandpa, we all knew he was getting older, but we never really thought he would ever die,
Yeah. I mean, heck, Kirk Douglas is 102. We thought we would see Stan Lee that old too.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate because the way comics are now, that's an entire segment for another show, but I'm just saying, like, it's unfortunate that kind of era of comic books is truly gone.
Mm-hmm.
And, I read a lot of Silver Age comics. I've read a lot of Stan Lee's comics. So, it's unfortunate that person's gone now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, yeah.
And some other trip. Yeah, Stan Lee, everybody knows he cameos in the Marvel movies, but he's done over 100 cameos in his life. And he also occasionally got to play real roles. He was in Mallrats, Kevin Smith directed comedy. And a lot of people don't know this unless they're like me, Z-grade horror buffs. He was in some of the Trauma movies, and sometimes he was a narrator, sometimes he had a physical presence, but he played a character named Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So, if you were missing Stan Hard, he's in lots of corners of pop culture that most of you probably have never seen, so you can have you a fresh new Stan Lee experience and smile.
Yeah.
Like, he introduced so many different cartoons and, Marvel properties. So, like, back in the old days, like, Stan Lee was, introduced in this episode of the X-Men, and he just kind of was always around and always ready to get people excited. And, did you ever get to meet him, James?
No, I did not. So.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, I met him once, and he was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's just, it will be unfortunate to see, the last cameo or whatever in Spider-Man, which is fitting,
Now, recently I watched Teen Titans Go to the Movies just for fun, and he actually had a cameo in that.
Yeah, that's a great cameo.
Yeah.
You know about that, James?
Cameo.
Yeah, I know about that. I've seen that.
So he had fun with it. He was a very gregarious kind of guy that just you like him, and he had fun with it. He knew, and I think the thing going around now is that he made a cameo in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, he's gonna be remembered, and there's not many comic book creators that are as iconic as him, and that are
Comic creators can you name that started work in 1939?
Well, how many can you really think of now?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The only one I can kind of think of is Todd McFarlane. I think, or McFarlane, the one that did Spawn, I think, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's only because he put his name literally in front of it, But he doesn't go around doing interviews. He doesn't go, he doesn't have the same kind of prestige,
Yeah.
So
yeah. So
I think they've filmed several of his upcoming cameos. So I don't know how many actual video cameos he will be in.
I heard that the last one they did was for the new Spider-Man. They did one for Avengers 4 and they did one for Spider-Man. That's what I heard.
And he also did some cameos for other people, and some of them, who knows when we'll see them.
Yeah, I wonder if like they just filmed a whole bunch of stuff in front of a green screen. And it's like, all right, we got like 10, and we'll figure out how to put it in later, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if Avengers 4 is going to have something at the, that could be an awesome post-credit scene. Just, thank you, Stan, That could be a way that make everyone cry, make everyone happy, That's how you do it,
Oh, they're probably going to do it before Avengers 4.
Maybe.
They might.
Well, yeah, they did it. Marvel.
There's already been some ads and some of the trade papers and stuff. So we're going to be getting. And there's a cool. Oh, Netflix. There's a cool little Easter egg. You type in the search engine Excelsior, and it'll pop up all the Marvel stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anything else you want to say? Or no?
No.
Keep talking. We're going to start crying, and that's pretty.
Yeah, it's.
Family.
I've said what It's true. Everything I said. So I say we just gotta close this chapter on the book.
Okay.
Yeah, and go read some Stan Lee comics.
Yeah, read the Silver Age. Read
his life.
Read just the first 10 years of Marvel. That's like the majority Stan Lee. All that stuff. Especially the Jack Kirby stuff.
Yeah, and read the Kirby Lee run of Fantastic Four and the Lee did a run on Spider-Man. Go read those. You can get them on. You can buy them on CD-ROM. You can get repos of them on CD disc, or you can read them online.
Like Fantastic Four 1 to 107 and Spider-Man 1 to like 100. Those are the Stan Lee era. So, all right, time to close the podcast. I'll see all of you guys next time.
All right. Have a great Thanksgiving, and thank you all for listening. Bye.
Bye.
All right, before this podcast ends, I want to give a thank you to my patrons. Right now, we have one patron, which is David from Spain, and I want to thank you for your financial support. All right, so that's going to be it for this podcast.
We now have a Patreon, and the link is in the description. Thanks for watching.
And we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, a little bit everywhere. Just look for us, 3D or 2D. And of course, review us on iTunes. And if you want to write us a letter, our email address is email3dortwo2d@gmail.com. So that's going to be it. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone.